Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, let's praise and thanks for the blessing of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. So we are always given health and strength to undergo our activity. I'm Fitriyana Ramli from PBIB. The contents of this video are explanation around discourse analysis as the fulfillment of the mid-test in the course of discourse analysis. In this material, of the urgency of studying discourse analysis in ELT, there are two things that need to be discussed. The first is what are the reasons for studying DA, and secondly, what are the difference between discourse analysis and error analysis in terms of their genesis and focus. So, for the first, let's talk about that. The first question is, what are the reasons for studying discourse analysis? What must learn discourse analysis is the need of student. Is the need of student majoring in English education in order to meet the needs communication and in teaching. Discourse analysis will demand and encourage students to reconsider and re-evaluate the roles of the language they already know. Therefore, at the university level, these studies should be awarded to senior students of English Studies and the Department of English Education. There are at least two main activities that students will do in discourse analysis, namely studying the theoretical concept of discourse analysis and conducting specific discourse analysis. Number 2, what are the difference between discourse analysis and error analysis in terms of their genesis and focus? The difference between error analysis and discourse analysis is error analysis is the first approach for the study of SLA, which includes an internal focus on learners' creative ability to construct language. It is based on the description and analysis of factual learners' error rather than on idealist linguistic structures attributed to native speakers. Meanwhile, conducting discourse analysis means examining how language functions and how meaning is created in different social contexts. It can be applied to any instance of written or oral language, as well as nonverbal aspects of communication, such as tone and gestures. Then, in the discourse analysis and English language teaching material, there are three things that need to be discussed. The first is what are discourse and discourse analysis. Second is what are teaching and English language teaching, and finally, what is the relation between discourse analysis and ELT? So, let's talk about that. For the first, what are discourse and discourse analysis? Use theory. Discourse. Discourse refers to an approach commonly used to examine language in the use of its social context. Edmondson, 1981, says that discourse is a structural event manifested in linguistic behavior or others, whereas a text is an arrangement of structural linguistic expression which forms a unity. Discourse analysis. According to Stubbs, 1983, discourse analysis refers to the attempts to study the organization of language above the sentence or above the clause, and therefore to study larger linguistic units such as conversational exchange or written text. Okay, next question about what are teaching and English language teaching. Teaching. Let's talk about teaching. According to Paul Hertz, 1975, being clear about what teaching is matters vitally because how teachers understand teaching very much affects what they actually do in the classroom. Two ways, at least, can be used to know the definition of teaching. For the first is virtual way. This way refers to the way of knowing definition using stored definition of something in a computer, especially over a network. Using this way means to use definition from online dictionary. And the second is ritual way. This refers to the way of understanding definition by observing an act of uh, teaching containing series of acts regularly repeated in classroom. Using this way means uh, to observe what those called teachers do in teaching, then to draw out duties and activity done, and finally to create an interpretation of the duties and the teaching and the activity to vividly describe the meaning of teaching. Using two things, the definition of teaching may be formulated this way. Teaching is to help students to learn something by imparting knowledge or skill. And let's talk about English language teaching. English language teaching can be interpreted as the process of imparting skill and knowledge of English to a group of students whose first language is not English through the implementation of the three main stages. For the first is pre-teaching or planning. Second is while teaching or giving instruction. The third, as well as post-teaching or measuring learning outcomes. The third question is, what is relation between discourse analysis and ELT or English language teaching? The relation between discourse analysis language teaching, discourse analysis and English language teaching are found to be tightly connected and inseparable. It is obviously seen from an indication that discourse analysis signifies language and language enables discourse analysis. Language is one method of communicating message, while discourse analysis can be used as tool to disclose message being communicated. In a nutshell, the relationship between discourse analysis and language is symbiotic, one in which one will not exist without the others. Then, in the scope of discourse analysis material, there are 6 things that need to be discussed. The first is what is spoken discourse. The second is what are the difference between classroom and casual conversation. The third is the reason for analyzing the discourse or classroom and casual conversation. The fourth is how to analyze the discourse. Example for analyzing the discourse. The fifth is what things are found from the analysis, and lastly is what are the implications of the analysis result to teaching and learning speech delivery in English language teaching. For the first, what is spoken discourse? Spoken discourse is generally known as a way in which a language is verbally used by using speech in communication, which constitute a series of conventional system of sound. The second is, what are the difference between classroom and casual conversation? Okay, the difference between classroom conversation and casual conversation. So there are 2 types of conversation, namely classroom conversation and casual conversation. Well, of course, there's 2 conversation have difference, namely in casual conversation, people do not need put their hands up if they want to speak. In classroom conversation, students are expected to do if they want to say something. According to Barnes, 1971, teacher rarely ask questions to which they do not already know the answer. In real life, people normally ask questions to find out something they do not know. According to Delamont, 1976, states that in the classroom, teachers are expected to follow up a pupil's response with some kind of evaluation. Like good girls, that's right, but inside the classroom, this type of follow-up would be quite out of place. Next, according to Sachs, 1974 confirms that in casual conversation there are quite complicated machinery, for ordering speakers done sequentially in the classroom. It is usually the teacher who decide who will speak next and for how long. And next, according to Sinclair and Coulthard, 1975, classroom discourse has by nature a tripartite structure. The teacher initiates the pupil response, the teacher then evaluates the response, and if a teacher withholds feedback, the pupil take this as a sign that the response was wrong and try again. In normal conversation, this type of evaluation feedback would show strength and could even be offensive. The third question is the reason for analyzing the discourse. This is about classroom and casual conversation. So the reason for the discourse analysis between classroom and discourse is so that students can know the difference in grammar and terms used when performing the casual conversation and classroom. The discourse of the discourse needs to be done on the casual conversation for the student not to be in the word for the speakers of language, but also talk about knowing the function of language, because the speakers of language function is so revealing the speakers of language, because the speakers of the social function is real to express speech, because the real speech of the social function is because it is speaking in real social interaction that actually does not reveal the words that in which is do not reveal the meaning of the causality of the words that are actually revealing the meaning of the conceptuality is the way of concession, is a cheer, unstructured, uncreditable, unlimited, and ineffable, and usually widely used around the people we see in our social discourse analysis, is so that students can find the difference of both. The analysis of the discourse classroom is to make students know that on the screens of classroom, the interaction is more formal, structured, planned, and has limits because it is used in formal situation. The same as the casual conversation that has no structure and is in use in daily conversation, in the daily conversation or in social interaction. Okay, next question is about how to analyze discourse, or example for analyzing the discourse. Answer. Step 1. Define the research question and select the content of analysis. Step 2. Gather information and theory on the context. Step 3. Analyze the content for the themes and patterns. Step 4. Review your results and draw conclusion. Here is the example of carrying about discourse analysis to an authentic speech, that is the opening of all welcome speech given by the principal of David Secondary School. The, the analysis, the generic structure of the speech. Addressing, addressing or address the audience to start, something like their parents, guardians, and the next is greeting and gratitude. Greet and thank them to show friend lines. Next is good morning and thank you for choosing Saint David for your child. Next is we welcome you to the large school family which comprises of the teachers, pupils, and parents, guardians. Attention grabber or get the audience attention. Next is our hope is simple that while your child is what use that he or she will develop into a mature, happy, responsible young adult who is prepared to face the future with confidence. Introduction, you can tell them what you are going to say. And for the example, like the school acknowledge that parents, guardians, the primary educators as a professional body of teachers, the staff of St. David's works in cooperation with the student and the home to help each individual pupil to reach his or her potential. And next is about body, or you tell them we view education as the development of the whole child. Attention or emphasis is placed not just on the intellectual development but also on the pupil's physical, social, and spiritual development. Something like each student is a unique individual with special gifts and talents. We hope that with motivation, encouragement, and hard work, that all our students will discover their individual talents. Always strive to achieve its career under the guidance of a Catholic ethos. A concern for those less fortunate than ourselves is promoted within the school. Respect for each individual within the school community is also a core value within St. David. One of our core beliefs about academic success is that hard work, determination, and consistent effort are key elements in achieving success. All of the above is only possible within a firm but fair code of discipline. And conclusion, in this session, you can tell them all you have said. Something like, we are proud to our student, and no doubt your child will make a significant contribution to St. David's. I look forward to meeting you this summer when I will answer any question which you may have and where I will have the opportunity to explain in greater detail the structure which operates in the school. Ending, in the step you can make them remember something or give your gratitude to them. For example, like success nourishes them. They can because they think they can. Thank you. Yeah. Okay, next. Let's talk about what things are found from the analysis. What is discovered is the fact that to make speech sound natural, we can then use the general structure found, because speech delivered without using generic structure, as found in speech discourse analysis, it has made a speech sounds very unnatural in a real English context. And the last is, what are the implications of the analysis result to teaching and learning speech delivery in English language teaching, or ELT? The generic structure identified after the discourse analysis may be used as a speech outline that functions to help students in order to be able to organize ideas logically and clearly in making a speech. By having an outline, a speaker is able to develop his speech more structuralized and easy to understand, especially if the student can use appropriate expression to convey each function within the basic structure of the speech. It will make the speech sound authentic and be natural. That's all my explanation about discourse analysis material is given to the mid test. I'm sorry for many mistake pronunciation in my video. Thank you and assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.